Hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Royal Sussex Sunday Live. And let's welcome Sherry Ware, one of the moderators for this chat, Connie Balmer, live from Switzerland, Joan Garcia, moderator Church Nelly, and let's see who else. Anastasia, another moderator. Gwendolyn Daniels, welcome. And Beverly Jackson, Joan Commonwealther, welcome. Annie Bullard, Sarah Turner, Margarita Taylor, Miranda Rios, welcome. Moderator Lydia Washington, Charlotte B, welcome. I believe Charlotte B is from France, is it? She's from one of the French-speaking countries. I never figured out which one, but I believe she's from France. Let's see, Rochelle Badreau, Dabby Dragon, welcome. Fetty, howdy. And Mascara, don't start. That's right, don't start. Black Queen, welcome. Sandra Rose, welcome. Marie Fabian 1, welcome. Rosa Roberts and Carolyn Sowers, welcome. Julia Rock, Ethan's husband, number 1. And let me see, Selma Hamasi, Dory Wiley, and Sonia Alexander, got it. Yvonne Clark, welcome. The Set Mod. Okay, I see that's written in kind of a German thing going on there, but cool. Let's see. All right, Marshar is here. Susie Q, welcome. Wow, a lot of people pouring in really fast. Glad to see that. Bright Eyes, Peanut Butter and Jelly. V. Thomas, Dara Edgehill, welcome. Myra V. Angela One Love, Sestrin CC, Terry H. V. Thomas, Lynn. Okay. Let me see. Are you from Trinity? Oh, okay, I see there. I think we, as a school children, had to stand for 4 hours to wait to see the Queen, which when I was 8 years old, she visited Trinidad in the 60s. Okay. I think I've actually seen a video of that visit to Trinidad. Okay. Hi, Maria, Vetty, Connie, Anastasia, Dory. Well, good morning to you, Gwendolyn Daniels, Ruth Lopez. Okay, so with that, let me do this, and then we can get started. Anyway, happy Sunday, one and all. Well, yesterday was a bit of a treat, but I'll talk about that later. You probably know what I'm referring to. But yesterday we had a bit of a treat from some of our faves. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I managed to catch it later on, but I did happen to see it, and I was glad for that. So yeah, I'm just uploading my slide here. I was literally working on today up until the very last moment. So this young lady right here, her name is, let me move that out the way, Jordan Childs. Now, she does those like floor gymnastics. I don't even know what it's called, but the reason why I'm saying congratulating to Jordan Childs, that is because she scored a perfect 10 and everybody loves a winner. So we have to celebrate that. She scored a perfect 10. The crowd was whipped into a frenzy over her gymnastics. So she does like that high bar and all that kind of stuff. But the one in particular was when she did that tumbling across the floor. It was extraordinary. Even if you're someone who's not familiar with the sport like myself, you already know that this is the makings of a star right here. So that was very impressive to watch. Okay. And let me see. There's one more slide I want. Don't know where it is. Let me look for it. But we can continue with this. Let me take that away. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it. There it is. I was going to wait till later. But how many of y'all actually saw this? I mean, big, huge congratulations to Miss VSN. I was completely shocked when I saw this. And just so you know, a lot of times I'll watch stuff live. I don't actually comment, but I did watch this live and I didn't comment because I didn't want to be a distraction. You know what I mean? So a lot of times I don't comment during other people's videos, but occasionally I do pop in with Miss VSN and I was completely floored. This is like the scoop of the century. I mean, it was just absolutely what can I say? Mascara, you watched it? Yeah, that was I loved it. Yes, wasn't that a nice surprise? It was so enjoyable. I'd say amen to that one. Absolutely, it was so enjoyable. I mean, there I was, and I'm just like, is that could it be? Yeah, that sounds very I know those voices. And then next thing you know, yeah, there they were. So it was a pleasant surprise. I don't think there was much notice for anybody. It's just all of a sudden there they were. So I have to tell you, that was like my best day since Christmas. Okay. Yes, absolutely, Josephine Young. It was like I was hoping they were gonna come on this Sunday. I'm assuming they did not. I checked again and again yesterday to see if they had anything timed for today, but I didn't see anything. So, I'm glad that they are, Tina and Michelle are doing the stuff that they need to do to sustain body and soul because they worked really hard for the cause and they'll be back. They'll be back when it's a convenient time for them. But I'm sure it was like a vacation for Tina that she didn't have to do the heavy lifting and she could just sit back and be a guest, instead of because I have to tell you guys, I don't talk about this often, but I have been roundly criticized by some familiar people and unfamiliar people um, on the format. And when I heard Miss BSN saying that, there's a lot to this, I felt like I could breathe when she said that because people just have no idea. Everybody likes the edited videos and that's hours and hours of work, and even doing the live video in some respects is a little easier, but then at the same time you still have to prep for it, otherwise you're going to look like a complete horse's behind. So I have I've seen some like really wicked comments, and I don't know if that happens to anybody else that does that has a platform, but it can be very jarring, especially when you're because nobody knows what you're going through. And so thank you for saying that, Miss VSN. I was like listening closely. I had that like RCA dog ear. I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh. She gets it. So the fact that she was able to do this, to have Tina and Michelle on there, that had to have been like a very elevating experience, but at the same time, who knows? Who knows? I'm pretty sure that when she was done, she just went and laid down somewhere because, you're like holding so much responsibility in your hands. So hats off to Miss VSN, Miss VS. I'm sorry, Miss MSC. You know what I mean. But congratulations. That was quite a feat, and I could not be more pleased that I had a chance that I saw it. And all I could say is better her than me because I don't think I would have wanted to have to do that. But she did, and she did it for us. So hip hip hooray. Let's see. Listening to Tina and Michelle was so refreshing. Absolutely. Yes, Lydia. I was just like, eh, like I said, I don't always comment, and sometimes I'll put on a podcast and I'm doing other things. I'm multitasking. I actually had to stop the podcast somewhere toward the end because I had to take a phone call. But when I came back, I definitely finished listening, and I'll probably have to go back and listen to it again. If you guys have not seen it, please go to the community tab for Royal Sussex, and you will find a link to the Miss VS, Miss SVN, Miss you know who. You'll find a link to her podcast. You'll see the same purple and pink and whatever thumbnail that you see there now. You'll see that in the community tab for Royal Sussex. But yes, I cannot say it enough. Congratulations to Miss VSN. And she's been doing like some really solid work for a long time, even though I don't, like I say, always comment. I do watch it and like it. But yeah, it was great. So, Lil Rock, you say, don't fret, Baron. They heckle Tina and Michelle while doing that. Yeah, thank you so much for saying that, Lil Rock. And Tina even said that sometimes, she gets it really bad from the squatties. You guys have no idea. People that you think you're cool with, they could say some really nasty, negative things. And it's like it's from out of the blue. And it's when you really can barely tolerate anything. It's just like when you have a bad headache and somebody's playing loud music. That's exactly what happens. So to hear Tina mention that, I think she kind of referenced that yesterday, that sometimes she gets it from the squatties and not everybody likes her. And Miss VSN was saying, how much hard work goes into this. I was just like, yes, yes, yes. Somebody understands, because otherwise it's just a lot of unnecessary. I would say it's one thing if it's constructive criticism, but sometimes it's just um people. It's like I'll say is bordering on bullying type of criticism. I mean, I've seen it all, and I've had maybe just one or two threats from a troll, but that comes with the territory. That definitely comes to the territory. And thank you, moderators, that do everything that you can to protect me from some of it, because a lot of times I'll see that the moderators have removed some comments from people, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, thank God for the moderators, because otherwise, I wouldn't know anything about it. Sometimes I catch them myself, sometimes I don't. So it all comes with the territory, but let's not overshadow the great podcast yesterday. So again, if you want to see it, please go to the community tab, because it is there, and you'll see that very same purple and pink thumbnail for your consideration. So, yeah, so that happened yesterday, and I was very, very pleased by that. So, I'm having trouble bringing up my other slide, but let me try that one more time. Uh, oh, there it is. I found it. I found it. It was just out of place, but got it. So we'll do that, and let's see. Diane Ware, welcome to the live chat. 400 people in 15 minutes. I'm pleased. Let's see. All is well with you? Yes, of course it is. One love from New Jersey. I hope so. Okay. All right. I'm almost there. I just need to bring up one more slide and I think I'm good. Or do I have it already? Nope. One more and I think I'm good. Oh yeah. Okay. So that one, but we'll get back to that later. So let's do this. So this is what I wanted to talk about, and I could not find the image that I had. It's the one on the left side. Prince Harry causes monumental search for burnout in the UK, and so this is what has caused so much controversy. The first time Harry said something about mental fitness and mental health and working, it was about the great American, what did they call it? Where people were quitting their jobs. People just threw up their hands and they said, "I'm not going to take it anymore. I quit." And so when Harry spoke about that, Harry spoke about it after the fact. But yet the tabloids used it as an opportunity to attack Prince Harry and make it seem as though he was the cause of it and how many people are listening to Harry. They're not listening to Harry, they're listening to their conscience. They have decided to step away from some very bleak employment. As I said, I worked at a job where it would have taken me 2 years. I think it was 2 years to get 2 weeks vacation. 2 years to get 2 weeks vacation. And as for sick time, it took me a year before I was eligible for sick time. And so people in the workplace have really been going through it, and nobody's been listening to them. And if it takes a pandemic to get people to wake up and say that life is too short, then so be it. Prince Harry has his finger on the pulse of society. It's the other people that seem to be aloof and unaware. They can't read the room. They're not reading the room. Harry understands. Harry actually has been working as a life coach, and we didn't even know it. I mean, we know that he's been involved with the Better Up, but we didn't know that he was doing life coaching, or But it was actually there we have it. It was actually Serena Williams. And by the way, Halutka Kizia, thank you so much for the super sticker and happy Sunday to you. But Serena actually, oh my goodness, did I miss that? How did I miss that? Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Alice Langdon. Thank you for the super sticker and happy Sunday to you too. Thank you. Happy Sunday, one and all. This is a nice start. So it was Serena who mentioned the fact that she takes some of her troubles to Harry and he's able to help her out. Serena said that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known. Um, I mean, obviously, Harry talks to a lot of people. Harry is very adept with understanding. He has that type of empathy necessary to reach people, much like his mother. That's where he gets it from. And so somehow Harry has been able to cross that great void between a prince of the realm and everyday people. He doesn't see himself as that. I mean, there's no escaping it, but he doesn't see himself as this aristocrat at the top of the aristocratic food chain. He sees himself as the common everyday person. He lives as the common everyday person within certain extents. I mean, he is rich. But remember, this is the same Harry that lived in a servant's cottage as an adult, royal member of the family. As an adult, he lived in a servant's cottage. And when the Duchess of Sussex met him, he was still walking around with holes in his shoes. He literally was wearing chinos every place he went and had holes in his shoes. And I suspect away from public engagements, not much has changed. So he's a very down to earth person, which is something that is so greatly overused with the royal family. But truly, if anybody is a down to earth individual, it is Prince Harry. He always says, just call me Harry. He doesn't like to stand on ceremony. Um, he accepts it because of his grandmother, but he's not comfortable standing on ceremony. So that's the Harry that Serena um, speaks to, not the one that was part of that family back in Narnia. So this is just and when I heard that, I was just like, come on, Harry, come on. So let me see. Let me take a couple of your comments. Are you a squatty? Yes, I said, and so proud. Okay. All right. All right. Good for you, Josephine Young. And Sheila Watson, that's why he is so relatable and loved. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me see. He is his mother's son. His soft tone when he spoke is just like Diana's. Okay. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm seeing. That is exactly what I'm seeing. That's what the world sees. Let me see. Indeed, the man who was expected to carry his brother's weight has become a shining star. His family is trying hard to diminish. Absolutely. Yes. Patricia Marcel, you always are bang on with your comments. Absolutely. And I really do appreciate them. Okay. All right, so there's that. Let me remove that image and let's go to the next one. Oh, okay. I had a different slide for that, but I used something different. And thank you. Let's see. Let me try to get that back up here. I need to highlight someone here. I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but Dara Edgehill, thank you for the super sticker. And thank you for being here on this Sunday. I really appreciate it. Serena Williams credit Harry with solving my well, anyway, we saw that already. But yeah, this was a different slide that I meant to use, but I couldn't find it, so I used the other one. But there you have it. So let me take that away. And let's see, was I ready for this one or not? I didn't really put this in the best of order, but let's just go ahead and do this. The case against Queen Camilla, it would mean the public in Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and other realms have been deceived. It now, mind you, this is from 2018, I believe. It would mean the monarchy built on a lie by liars. 67% of the British public don't want her to be queen. So this is Richard Palmer, right? Richard Palmer, we're familiar with him. There's a lot of squatties that Richard Palmer has blocked. So he said that in 2018, but oh, what a difference a day makes. So the Queen, as you know, we have to talk this out. The Queen decided that it is time to bring Camilla in from the I'm not going to even say what I was thinking. Um, but anyway, it's time to bring Best in Show in from outside, so to speak. It's time to bring her into the fold and to make it official that someday she is going to be a consort. And there is absolutely nothing that anybody could do about it. The Queen has made it all but official. Well, by law, I think it was official anyway, but I believe that the Queen is trying to make a path for her to go through the coronation without being heckled or disparaged by the public in any kind of way. Um, And so it's interesting how the palace and the queen can take action when it has to do with the salvation of the monarchy. But when it came time to protect Harry and his children and his wife, um, don't explain, don't complain, explain, complain. There was nothing to be said at that point. Nobody said anything. It was mum's the word when it comes to actually protecting the Sussexes. But in order to protect the the institution, then of course it is the official statement from Buckingham Palace, and then all of the tabloids seem to run with the story all at the same time. So, as a matter of fact, let me see here. And so I look forward to. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do this. Oh boy, here I go with the shady. It didn't take long, did it? All right. Is that the one? Yeah, we'll do that one. No, no, no. We'll do cornrow. We'll do cornrows. And so I look forward to continuing to serve you with all my heart. I hope this jubilee will bring together families and friends, neighbors and communities after some difficult times for so many of us. Yeah, like the people who can barely heat their homes. In order to enjoy the celebration and to reflect on the positive developments in our day to day lives. Okay, I need to stop doing that. Oh, you know what? It's the other paragraph here. Here it is. I know you will give him and his wife Camilla the support that you have given me. Oh, that hurts. I can't keep doing that. That you have given me, and it is my sincere wish when its time comes, Camilla will be known as Queen Consort as she continues her own loyal service. Well, that's one way to put it. I do apologize if you have a pet, you know, a cat or a dog or something like that, and it just ran up under the bed. I do apologize for that. Okay, so that's what the Queen said in a statement from. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. It's the letterhead says Sandringham House, and that was from yesterday. So the Queen wants everybody to band together and support Prince Charles and his emotional support Camilla. Well, you know, we could do that. It doesn't mean anything to me because, you know, I'm over here. But take a look at this image. Take a look at this. So I notice a pattern here. Every time the queen has to cut a cake, instead of just slicing the cake, she decides she'd rather stab it. I mean, she really literally takes a stab to it. Look at the poor lady in the background. She's like, oh, dear God. And in a way, it's kind of cute. And in another way, it's rather disturbing because it always seems to occur during those periods when the queen is either speaking about Camilla or near Camilla. So if I was Camilla, I wouldn't take her at her word because, as you know, among her other talents, the queen is probably, I'm just saying, I don't know this to be true. She's probably a trained assassin. I mean, look at that arsenal of weapons on the wall behind her. Have you seen that? There is a complete arsenal of weapons on the wall behind her. So she is likely trained in the art of annihilation. And as she speaks about Camilla, there she is raising another saber. That's not just a kitchen knife, that is a saber. And so, if you don't believe me, take a look at this. Take a look at this. What do you see back there? The queen is standing next to Camilla, and she's waving that big saber. And then she decided to turn it upside down yet again and jab into the cake. Now, they offered her a knife and she wouldn't take it. She wanted the saber. I don't know if this is like her sending some type of message to Camilla, like, if you make it. I don't know what she's doing. I'm just saying it's purely coincidental that the queen. So when I say I'm not sure who's in control or if the queen actually decides things, I mean, even though she seems to walk and talk normal or better than normal for a 95-year-old woman, this thing with knives and cakes and the fact that she's always making reference to Camilla. If I was Camilla, I would steer clear of Sandringham House. That's all I'm saying. So just a coincidence. Just thought I would point it out. But do remember, one, yeah, I mean, and she has two people that she has been known to have disparaged standing right over her shoulder. And I'll get to that later. But yeah. So I see Miss VSN is here. Welcome to the live chat, Miss VSN. We were talking about you earlier. Yes, we were talking about you earlier. Again, if you want to see the amazing podcast from yesterday, please go to the community tab. So there's that. I'm going to remove that and then I'm going to go on. Now, I'm sorry if you're eating breakfast. I'm really sorry. Sarah Vine, just like Angela Levin, Sarah Vine, who does better when there is a village. You know how they say it takes a village? The look on the right literally took a village. The look on the left, that is your everyday Sarah Vine. Sarah Vine is all messed up because she is concerned about Carrie Johnson. She's concerned about Carrie Johnson's mental health. She is just torn apart because she's just so upset that Carrie Johnson may not be exactly treated well by the public and that people are hypercritical of her and she's being mistreated in some way. Okay, Sarah Vine, we get that. We get that. But what about the Duchess of Sussex? What about the Duchess of Sussex? How about the way she was treated? The Duchess of Sussex was not treated well, in particular by you. That is what's so amazing about that statement is the fact that she's so concerned about the way that they're treating Carrie Johnson, but she didn't seem to have that moral outrage when it came to the Duchess of Sussex. And everybody knows it. So, like for instance, this. Remember that? When they had the interview with the Sussexes, CBS decided to, share this as an example of the way the Duchess of Sussex has been mistreated, right? The way the headlines has been vicious toward her. Now, there are so many words that we can call upon in the English language. And this is what Sarah Vine decided to use. I'm not even going to say it because if I do, I may have to have my video reviewed for the sake of monetization. So I'm just not going to say it. But there it is. All the words that this so-called writer, that this member of the this so-called journalist has available to her, and this is the word that she chooses. Yeah, and it just happens to be a word in reference to someone who just happens to have a mother of African descent, as she herself, the Duchess of Sussex, is of African American descent. So it just happens to be that way. There's so many words in the English language that we can call upon, but this is the one that she chose because it was the thing that she knew would resonate. It's that necessary dog whistle that would bring forth a type of emotion to help make this case against the Duchess of Sussex. So I would like to see your thoughts about that. Yeah, absolutely. It was on purpose. It was very deliberate, and it was definitely a dog whistle. And mission accomplished. It did exactly what she wanted it to do. It was just enough where she can call her a word very similar to that without actually using it. So that was absolutely disgusting. CBS was right to call them out on it. And of course, um, the British media, they had a meltdown. They had an absolute meltdown by CBS calling them out on that. They thought that CBS had somehow overstepped the mark. Using that word didn't overstep the mark, but CBS blurting it out, because CBS they knew exactly what was meant by that word, and that it's one thing to use that language on the front page of a newspaper in the UK. But here in the US, it is completely unacceptable. There's no way that a person does that. And people are having this big debate about cancel culture. I think I could have lived with that person being canceled. I could have lived with that, because this was a provocation. It was a provocation, an unnecessary way to use language to disparage the future Duchess of Sussex. Because you are a racehorse, I can't say that word, clown, Karen, who can't stand to see the black girl winning, especially knowing you and Ilk will also be working the wedding gig, but not invited. Yeah, we don't sit with the help, do we? Absolutely not invited. Okay. I agree. I agree. It was her way of, and I'm sure that when they went to print with that, that there was high fives, slaps on the back, and everything that goes with that type of language used publicly and getting away with it. Okay, I had to have a drink of water, but yeah. So um, Sarah Vine is so upset for Carrie Johnson's mental health. The way the media was upset for Carolyn Flack. They were worried about her mental health. And because they were so worried about her, she's no longer alive. That's how worried they were, because they were worried about Carolyn Flack's mental health. And the same way they worried about the Duchess of Sussex's mental health. Although they didn't have the same outcome that they were expecting, um, they didn't know that she would leave and take her husband and her child with her, but that's exactly what happened. So, three cheers to the Duchess of Sussex. So, this right here, yeah, I agree. CBS did a fabulous job. They absolutely did. CBS just really stuck it to the British media. They did. They stuck it to them. So, and there's no other way to put it. Um, yes, yes, and yes. She is a racehorse. That too. Good morning, Loki Jr.'s mom. Good morning and happy Sunday to you. Okay, the British media boldly states senior working royals never worked a hard day in their lives. Well, obviously, this is not a real headline, but thank you to whoever on the Twitter uploaded this recently, because it says a lot. They said that Harry has never done a hard day's work in his life, and yet he's always commenting about the well-being of workers, and who is, obviously he's not supposed to state the obvious, even though by the time Harry speaks of it, it's already been a thing. Harry is only giving affirmation to what everybody already knows. Speaking of affirmation, I believe Ivy must be near because if Ivy is near, usually I sound that much more wise. So, welcome, Ivy. I know you're listening. So yeah, so that's actually a fake headline, but bravo to whoever created this. So this is something else. Alexis Ohanian, who is married to um, Serena Williams, I'm follow him on the Twitter, by the way. It says this makes me so happy. Um, as you know, he's the father of a biracial child. And as dad, he saw this doll that he could gift his daughter, obviously, and apparently it makes him very happy. So the name of the doll is, oh, let me see, is Healthy Roots Doll. Healthy Roots Doll. And I saw this and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to share this with the squad. This makes him happy. He makes me happy because he's the proud father of a biracial child. And unlike some fathers of a biracial child who shall remain nameless, he's actually present for his child. He has great consideration for his child. I don't suppose that he's going to turn into some pot-bellied um loser that's going to make his child's life miserable. I just somehow I'm going to just say that's not going to happen. I have no proof, no evidence, but I just know that's not going to happen. So I thought that was really cool. It's called the Healthy Roots Doll. So make sure you look that up. I'll try to remember to put a link to it in the community tab, but it's called the Healthy Roots Doll. So that was pretty cool. And let me take a look at a couple of your comments before I continue. Let me see. I see her recently on a Lorraine TV show appearance after her divorce. Looking, are we talking about Vine? Obviously, that's Vine because it does seem like she's had some work done because she's not as doubtfire as she used to be. So yeah, I'm just going to assume that that's Sarah Vine you're speaking of. Cookies and cream, good afternoon to you. The newspaper headlines by Sarah Vine was the unroyal family and their racehorse minions' way of making sure biracial Meghan knew her place, even though she was marrying into the unroyal family. Thank you for that translation, Cookies and Cream. Absolutely. I wish we could share that with the public at large because it is absolutely true. Anastasia, Isabella, but they give themselves away too without them even notice it. Uh huh. Okay. I think I just jumped in on a conversation. Yes, she's Mrs. Doubtfire. She's Euphemia Doubtfire. That's who she is. I mean, come on. That's Doubtfire all over. Look at there. I mean, who knows how many times she's walked into a shop and someone said, "Hi, sir. Are you being served? How may I help you, sir?" Who knows how many times? And that's why she had some article where she went after the trans community. Obviously, she's very sensitive about that subject. I don't know. I'm just assuming. I don't quote me on that. Well, you can. I don't care. But obviously, she has been subject to confusion before her nip tuck and perhaps even after her nip tuck. But it's the only thing that you have to remember is that when you are a mean old troll like her, you have to remember that when you take a photo that you cover up beneath the chin. Well, that area, and notice that they all do that. They all know to put that hand up under that area. It's hard to call it the chin, but they all know to do that. They all better do it. See what I mean? They do it. It's a matter of Yeah, they have to do it. So, okay. So enough of Mrs. Doubtfire. Your comments? Strumming my pain. Singing my whole life. La 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 la. So Sarah Vine took Barron's roasting to heart and went and had work done. Oh, do you remember that video? Yeah, she kind of made me mad a while ago. I remember I had some video where I just literally dragged her for about 15 minutes. It was my way of working through my frustration. But as you know, I tend to do that sometime. So it's the only way that I can save face. Speaking of save face, did you notice the nip tuck? That's saving face. You have to do that sometimes. Nip tuck. Okay. I know it's okay. Well, let me get rid of that and carry on. So this is something that's happening. Notice the date 4/22. I'm sorry, 2/4/22. Inside Doria Ragland's 678,000 pound tropical house in LA. I don't know how you have a tropical house in LA, but that's what they said. 2 hours from Prince Harry and Meghan. Okay, so is this another one of those real estate guys trying to um you know what I mean? Are they trying to sell some property somewhere like they did when they said that Meghan and Harry were packing up and leaving Montecito or something like that? But again, here we go. We I don't know if they're going to do this to Doria every time they mention her name. They're going to talk about the price of her house, but um, I'm not going to say a whole lot about that. But yeah, so that has begun. I didn't even know, and it may not even be true. That's the thing, is it may not even be true, but we are very protective of Queen Doria. So I don't know who we're going to have to drag, but when the time comes, there are going to be toes face down on the ground as this person is being verbally dragged through the Twitter sphere. So stay tuned for that one. Let's see. Yeah, they got to count the toilets. They have to count the toilets. Remember when they said that Doria left Oprah's house and that Oprah had gifted her like a pound of gold or something, gave her her own tiara? Oprah said that it was actually some vegetables or fruit from her garden, and she carried a yoga mat. We don't even know how often Doria hangs out with Oprah Winfrey or anybody else in Hollywood. Let us not forget that at one time in Doria's life, she was a makeup artist. She has met a lot of people. She has known a lot of people over the years. And given her very sweet, placid nature, there's a good chance that maybe she stays in contact with some of these people. Maybe someone who she's worked with some years ago said, "Oh, I recognize her. Boy, she and her daughter are really going through it right now. Perhaps I should reach out to her." That's a possibility. We just never know. People assume that Doria hasn't lived in Hollywood, that she's just showed up one day, but Doria's been there for a long time. She's worked in the industry as a makeup artist, and so she knows people. So there's really no way of knowing how long she's known Oprah, where she met Oprah. There's none of that. Not to mention anybody else that she may have come and gone about with here and there, and nobody even has any knowledge of it. So, but leave it to the tabloid press. Somehow, whatever it is we don't know and they don't know, they'll fill in the blanks because they just tend to do that. That's why they're royal rodents, is that, if they can squeeze their little heads into any little space, the rest of them just slides on through. That's what they have in common with that picture right there. If they can just get their little beady eyes and their very boneless, flexible bodies into any space, hopefully there's something waiting on the other side for them. But if not, then we'll just have to continue to drag them. So, how was I prepared for that? I don't know. So, let me check out your comments before I go on. They have no idea of the cost of the real estate in California, especially in the highly populated areas. And she probably owned a home before this and it appreciated. Good luck. I mean, good for her. Absolutely, Lorena. Absolutely. They don't really know. And just because you see something on Zillow, that doesn't mean that that price is 100% accurate. The market fluctuates, and they have a price that is fixed from the real estate market from the past, especially when a person has never sold the house or whatever in years or haven't purchased a house. You don't know what it's worth. You can only go by the curb appeal. Most homes that are older, they don't even have an indoor photo of it, because if they had an indoor photo of this house that they claim belongs to Doria, then believe me, they would have shared it, but they don't even have it. So that says a lot right there. By the way, that price is probably the current market value, not what she bought it for. If she owned it for 30 years, it was probably less than 100K. Thank you, Ruth Lopez. Thank you. That was brilliant. I love it. Thank you. Very, very, very accurate. All I want to do is go after Queen Doria. Got my blood pressure up thinking about it. I know, Teresa. Better leave her alone, because, like I say, we are going to drag you all over Twitter sphere, toes down in the dirt, dragging across the gravel as we, start pulling out receipts and what have you. So let me see. Doria inherited that house from her father, who was an antique dealer, and she has lived there for decades. Okay, Vinny Blair. And to show you how much I don't even know anything about the house. I can only say that the tabloids have decided that they would, you know, make up stuff as they go along, and they tend to do that. So, yeah. And whatever I don't know, I'm pretty sure the tabloids will fill in the blanks for me, and it's just really up to me to believe it, and I probably won't. So this slide right here, Spotify reacts. Okay, so yes, this story has some mileage on it, and of course, we all know. And I'm only going to touch on this briefly because I definitely want to stray away from everything that's going on with Joe Rogan, but I don't even have a slide for it. That's how far I want to stay away from it. But India Ari has a video that has gone viral. Um, I mean, so much so that even what's that kid's name? Omid Scobie. He has it on his Twitter. So it's everywhere, and you've probably seen the video. Definitely, I can't quote the video. And so there is a campaign against Joe Rogan. I know that some of the people in the squad actually watch Joe Rogan. I don't have an opinion about him because I never watched the show. So I'm just going to stay away from it. If you guys have seen some things, cool. But yeah, I don't. It doesn't really have anything to do with the Sussexes. They didn't mention him by name. I want to stress that they haven't mentioned him by name, and also the Sussexes have never ever declared publicly that people have to take the vaccine. They haven't even mentioned that. They only appealed for vaccine equity. So, as far as Joe Rogan is concerned, as far as this thing with Spotify, the Sussexes, they don't necessarily need Spotify's money. India Ari has started a conversation about a different kind of equity. It has nothing to do with the vaccine. It has to do with the way that the artists are paid from Spotify. And I think that conversation, excuse me, it's going to resonate with some people. Again, I have no skin in the game, so I know so little about it. So that's where that's concerned, but it doesn't really directly affect the Sussexes. So it's a non-issue right now. They probably won't even say anything else about it. They just said what they had to say, and then that was the end of it. And of course, the tabloids are trying to draw the Sussexes into the whole orbit of this Spotify thing because of the deal that they have with Spotify. But really, it's not about them. It's about Joe Rogan. And now that India Ari has put that viral video out there, it concerns India Ari. But for different reasons. She's trying to get equity for the artists, and she probably is morally outraged by some of those clips. And Spotify very wisely removed a lot of the old content. And if you're not aware, Spotify paid Joe Rogan $100 million. They say $100 million for all of his for the rights to all of his past podcasts. Okay, I think I got that right. So yes, Black Queen. That's what they're saying. And given the video released by India Ari, I get that. I get that. So again, I don't know in what context it was okay for him to say the stuff that he said, because there was no context that was okay. But Spotify has decided to go to the mat for him, and they want to save this podcast because it makes a lot of money for the network, for the service. So yeah, there's that. And I want to keep the Sussexes away from that, because it's enough stuff going on, and they said what they had to say. And so let's just let the rest of the legacy media and everybody, let them deal with it. India Ari has definitely taken a stance, and and really, she's not the person that shall we say, she's only the messenger. She's only the messenger. It's not like this material hasn't been out there already. She's only the messenger. And there's a lot of people that's after him right now for various reasons. He's a threat to the legacy media, and there's the assumption that there's misinformation about the pandemic. I don't know, because I haven't seen any of it. I know he's had people on there that's been controversial, but I'm not directly aware of it because I haven't followed it. You know, I pretty much focus on Harry and Meghan, and the rest of that stuff. Let's see. Oh, Joan Garcia, you on top of it, ain't you? Absolutely. That's what I hear. That's what I hear. So, with Tasha K and Joe Rogan and maybe somebody else I haven't thought of, it is a really tough time for content creators. But if you haven't done anything wrong, then you shouldn't have anything to worry about. That's the whole point. If you haven't done anything wrong, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. That's what they always said when we were kids. Yes, Myra, absolutely. I saw that video, and it was jarring. It was absolutely jarring. And like I said, I don't know any context where that's okay. It was jarring. Absolutely. I don't know how he survives this. And it kind of reminds me, do you guys remember that squatty that had the channel that he built using Harry and Meghan's wedding? And he managed to get, I don't know how many followers. You know who I'm speaking of, right? He would start his show, hello, hello. And he would flick that fan, hello. Well, he was in a position where he felt safe. He was with some of his private, what do you call it, membership subscribers. He was in like a private chat on Patreon, and he kind of let his hair down and let it be known publicly that he didn't cotton too well to the Duchess of Sussex. and he was tired of talking about the Duchess of Sussex. Yes, and yet somebody in that group, I can't confirm or deny that's the person, but someone in that group mentioned it to, I believe it was Tina and Michelle. And even though Tina just didn't want to talk about it, much like I'm trying to do with this Joe Rogan thing, because it's really not, pertinent, but at the same time, it is current news. And so that happened. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of people who had stopped following or decided not to subscribe to Hello. A lot of people decided that they just didn't want to be bothered. Now, when I stopped watching them was when Trump came to town, and he just seemed to be a little bit too excited about Trump. I would have stayed much longer if he wouldn't have been doing that little jig when Trump came to town. But I was like, oh no. And it seemed like he was a little frustrated that the Duchess of Sussex wasn't going to put herself in the line of fire and sit at the table and break bread with Trump. Now, she said what she said about him in the past, and she meant what she said, and that was that. And she was also on maternity leave. I believe that if it wasn't for the maternity leave, that she may have shown up. But because it was not really important for her to be there, she decided that she'd skip out on it. And she paid a heavy price for it because the royal rodents attacked her viciously. That was just one of the vicious attacks during her pregnancy, was because she didn't show up at that state dinner. And so Elliot didn't defend her in the least bit, as far as I know. So yeah, there's that. So that's when I stopped watching him. He just got a little bit too excited about Trump. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm out of here. Oh, really? Are you speaking about Joe Rogan? He was the opening act for Dave Chappelle. Yeah, see, I don't know that he's a comedian. I know he's done some other stuff in media. Again, I don't know under what circumstances it's okay to use the N-word. I don't know what circumstances that's okay. I don't even want to hear it from other black people. And I certainly don't want to hear it from him. So I don't know when that's okay. And so, as I said, I'm trying to steer clear of it. And as long as it's not affecting the Sussexes, I'm just going to say let it play out the way it plays out, because yeah, it's a red hot issue, and Spotify lost value, and then I hear the value came back, and in another universe, Facebook has lost value like $200 billion in one day. This is why they get panicked about this stuff, is because these media companies, they want to satisfy their stockholders. They don't care what you think. They don't care what I think. The only thing they care about is their stockholders. And so that's who needs to be satisfied. And even the owner of the company, even if it was, say, it was privately owned, they don't want to lose any money either. So everybody wants to keep their cash. Absolutely, Miss S. Absolutely. There is no circumstances where that's okay. I totally agree with you. I don't even want to hear it from other black people. I don't use the word myself, and it makes me uncomfortable. It's jarring to me. It's jarring to me. And if somebody who is not African American uses that word, then the first thing I'm thinking is, okay, now where is this going next? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Okay, so that being said, let's move on. If you guys got any more comments. He was, let me see, he was too shady when he made a separate channel for the Sussex. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, The HRH, they only are not, but well, they were told not to use it. They were asked, part of the deal of leaving is that they could keep their HRH, but they could never use it for commerce or trade. And as far as I know, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, they don't use the title in any way whatsoever. And in particular, they don't use it for commerce or trade. And that's just the way it's been. Has an escape clause. I bet the lawyers and accountants are already working on. Well, you guys know that the Obamas left. I thought I saw someplace that the Obamas left Spotify. The Obamas was like, we're out of here. As far as I know, the Obamas have left Spotify. So it wouldn't be much of a surprise if the Sussexes are on their way out. Harry and Meghan are flush with cash, and they are incredibly marketable no matter what. So they're going to do just fine. Yeah, I saw the apology. Joe Rogan is disingenuous. He has a huge platform to make a difference, and he's failing. You know, Black Queen, you're being very generous when you say that, because you could have been more heavy-handed, and you chose to just, take the high ground with that. I appreciate it, because I don't think anybody would blame anybody for like really going after him, but I'm just going to let it play out. I'm not going to get sanctimonious and take a big stand or something like that while I'm talking about the Sussexes, because it's uncomfortable to see that video that India released, and I don't know that there's any proper context. I don't think there is, but he said what he said, and he's trying to work his way out of it. Now, Whoopi Goldberg, I don't think what she did was anyway as serious as that, but I can understand why people are bothered by what she said. So, because these events are happening simultaneously, you're going to have people who try to create this false equivalency with Whoopi Goldberg's situation compared to Joe Rogan's situation. But as we talk publicly like this, just as I'm speaking right now, it's easy to get in trouble. But Joe Rogan's thing seemed to be a series of events. It wasn't just one isolated event like Whoopi Goldberg. So right there is very different. This was a series of events. This was, I think, what was that you just said, Joan Garcia? They removed like 100 videos from his podcast. I mean, that's that's like a pathology. That's not just the occasional word. It's like, what's going on? So I'm sorry I had to pause for my sinuses. So, yeah, so anyway, let's move on. I don't even, why did I bring up this slide? How much are you paying him? Prince Harry called out by Piers Morgan after new move. Prince Harry has been called out by Piers Morgan after a royal dish out. Oh, the business advice. Yeah, the better up. So, yeah, old hoghead Piers Morgan said that. Old hoghead Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is trying desperately to find his way back into the public eye. And I was just having a conversation with someone about that. There's this idea that, if they run Joe Rogan off of Spotify, that he may find another way. He may go to Fox News. He can go here. He could do that. Tell that to Piers Morgan, and that would be a false equivalency, because Piers Morgan has never really had the type of audience of a Joe Rogan. The biggest audience Piers Morgan ever had was when he ran out of that studio. When he ran out of Good Morning Britain, that was the biggest crowd that has ever gathered from him. Since then, where is he? Where is he? Now, he throws the occasional stone at the Sussexes. Whenever he gets a chance, he'll throw a stone at the Sussexes. And yeah, absolutely, Robert Collins. He'll throw the occasional stone to the Sussexes, but other than that, he doesn't really have anything. He doesn't have anything. Nobody's paying him any attention. He ran his little hog head out that studio, and we haven't heard much from him since. And he tries to leverage every situation as his means of returning to the spotlight. And so far, nothing has been able to stick. Nothing sticks. And he keeps trying. And it's like to the point where he is like not just trolling, but like a stalker with the Duchess of Sussex. Of course, not actually, showing up in Montecito, but I'll get to that later too. But he's almost like a stalker with her, and yet nothing seems to stick. And so it's not working, pighead, hoghead Piers Morgan. It's just not working. None of this stuff seems to work. So that pathetic hog-headed Piers Morgan keeps trying. I mean, he is a hoghead. Look at him. That's a hoghead. That is a hoghead Piers Morgan. That's why I call him that. Well, he do have a hoghead. Them big jowls and so that hoghead Piers Morgan set a trap for himself. He set a trap for himself, and he fell into his own trap. Nobody told him to get up and run out of that studio, but he was so full of himself. He was so full of himself that he thought that I'm not going to stand for this. So he jumped up like Mr. Bentley on the Jeffersons and went strutting out of that studio, hoping that somebody would say, "Oh, you better go after him." And they didn't show. Nobody came to his rescue. He tried to pull a move and it backfired. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. And there was Dr. Shola, getting the meat all tender for the skillet. And then next thing you know, Alex Wears My Shirt Beresford decided to go in for the kill. So between the two of them, and that's what's so pathetic about this, Piers Morgan wasn't knocked off of his throne. He ran away from it. He did that to himself. I cannot get over the fact that this man fired himself. Have you guys ever noticed how animated I get when I speak about this? I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, here he was so full of himself, and he was the king of daytime television only because 5 days a week for years he attacked a woman of color, openly and freely attacked a woman of color. And that wasn't even enough to get him fired. It took him jumping out of his seat and running out of the studio without any provocation whatsoever. That is your home. How do you allow people to run you out of your own home? But he did. And through his own hand, he, figuratively speaking, took his own life. He took his life out of television. Nobody did anything to him. He did that himself. That is just, I play that. I play that back in my mind day after day after day. For a month or two, I played that day back in my mind. What in the world just happened? It's as though I was sitting in the studio and I felt this whoosh of air go by. And I was like, what is that? Oh, Piers Morgan just quit. Only for him to say he got fired. But then it's so ambiguous. Did he quit or did he get fired? All I know is I kept seeing that play over and over where he jumps up. I don't have to take this. And he runs out of the studio. I still don't know what happened. How did that happen? They were having a conversation. Even Alex Wears My Shirt Beresford, he couldn't understand how that happened. He wasn't sure I don't think he was going to be the one to run after him and say, "Oh, please come back, please." But no, that didn't happen. So Piers Morgan ran out the studio, and then the next day he held court right there in front of his house with his big hog head, talking all that smack about, oh, and they haven't heard the last of me. I got other jobs. Then why did you run? He ran out the studio. He wasn't fired, he quit. But much to his shock and dismay, after pulling that stunt, they didn't try to negotiate. They didn't ask him to come back. He was just gone. So he wants to blame the Duchess of Sussex for that, but she didn't tell you to get up and run out the studio. You did that to yourself, stupid. He did that to himself. He did that to himself. Nobody did anything to him. He did that to himself. He ran away from his job. And isn't that what Harry was talking about? People get fed up and decide they want to quit. And that's what he did. And now he's criticizing Harry because other people are doing exactly what he suggested. They quit their jobs. I mean, what is wrong with this guy? I don't get it. What is wrong with him? Why why are you blaming Harry? Why are you blaming Harry for people doing exactly what you did? You got up, you said, I'm not going to take this. And you ran out of your job and you're blaming Harry because you did exactly what other people are doing. The only thing is, he's so stupid, he did it before the pandemic. That's what's so stupid about it. He didn't even wait for a global catastrophe before he jumps out of his seat. I'm not going to take this. And he left. He just quit. And he wants to blame Harry for it. I don't understand it. Do you guys understand that? I don't get it. Yes. Amalara, I am still trying to understand what drove that pompous, arrogant man out of the studio that day. That is his kingdom. That was his throne. And for some reason, um, he just hauled off and ran out the studio. Yeah, so if you all can make sense out of that, please explain it to me. Well, it makes no sense at all. Alex Beresford was just having a conversation. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden, he's out of there. Like a whoosh of air just went. I'm sure there was papers flying all up in the air. I'm sure there was papers flying all about the studio because he was moving pretty fast. That's the most athletic anybody has ever seen Pig Morgan. He ran out of that studio doing, like, I don't know, about 25 knots or whatever. Um, I'm pretty sure that he set a land speed record exiting that studio. And when he left the studio, I guess, I assume somebody was supposed to come go running back there, like on the Maury Povich show. The cameras were supposed to follow him. There was supposed to be a therapist and a team of psychologists waiting for him, and they were going to bring him back out there. Well, that didn't happen. He ran. He went home. He had a press conference the next day, and then we found out that he wasn't coming back. And he did that to himself. I still don't understand, what was he running from? I don't. Where was that supposed to go? What was the logical explanation from running away from your own job? I mean, in the real world, people don't just get up and run out of the workplace unless they're done. They're done. So, or yeah, dumb or done. But and so when that happened, I know I'm kind of rehashing this again, but as you know, I am still fascinated by the stupidity. I mean, I'm just like, how stupid can you be? There cannot be two people. There cannot be two people in the world that stupid to jump up and run away from their job like that. I just don't know that that's possible. Who does such a thing? Who would be so dumb as to jump out of their seat, running, setting a new land speed record for any human being on 2 feet? Who runs out of their job like that? Who could be so stupid? Oh, I know. Sharon Osbourne. That's who could be so stupid. Because I think it was the very next day. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what Diane Hawkins. Now, you know by now I was stalling trying to find this photo. That's who could be so stupid. Absolutely. This man set a new land speed record exiting that studio. I mean, look at the way everything. Look at the way everything is a blur behind him. I mean, just a big blur, just a big ball of blubber running out the studio. Not necessarily the most athletic person that we'll ever know, not old Hoghead. And then, if that wasn't enough, he gets his best friend fired, a fellow Brit, an expat living in the US. All she had to do was show up and try to talk through all the work she's had done. I mean, every day the rest of the women on the talk had to see her face to face lift. Yeah, I mean to greet her is to see her face to face lift. And so it's bad enough that the rest of the crew has to deal with all that work she has done. I mean, let's face it, Sharon sometimes she just looks like something that sat up at the funeral parlor and went to work. So you got all that to deal with. But it's bad enough that he got himself fired. Then he gets her. I mean, both of them. And notice they both have that same look on their, well, not really. But so I'm not going to labor this point too much, but I just, as long as I live, I'm still going to struggle to figure out what happened that day. Yes. I'm sure the Duchess of Sussex was as morally outraged by it as I am. I'm sure she's beside herself trying to figure out exactly how did that happen. So cheers to Piers Morgan for doing the right thing. Good luck with your comeback. And that's that. So everybody's replaceable. Everybody. Uh, yes, let's hope that happens. Let's hope that happens. I mean, he's combustible. He's combustible. I mean, literally, a new land speed record. I don't think an ostrich could move that fast, and they're pretty fast. I mean, he's like the cheetah of the newsroom. Uh, yes, Vinny Blair, that's true. But I'd rather have a good dragging whenever I get a chance to do so. And this is just too much fun for me. Yeah. Yes, he looks like a vagrant. I mean, if you saw this person hanging outside your house, wouldn't you call the police? I mean, he shows up the next day looking like some kind of hobo. Like he's standing out in front of his own house in whatever posh neighborhood, looking like Boxcar Willie. He literally looks like Boxcar Willie, and all he needs is like a pint of cheap ale in his pocket, and maybe an old banjo and a stick over his shoulder with all of his belongings tied in a knot, and he would fit right in. He could literally be a hobo, a vagrant, a vagabond, a tramp. Absolutely. Yes, he did us all a favor. Crystal, he did us a favor, and I owe him. I literally owe him. I'm not sure how I'll ever repay him, but I'll find some kind of way to do it. Or am I doing that now? I don't know. But anyway, that's enough about old Hoghead. And this poor thing right here, this walking, talking cadaver. Oh, oh, how much work, huh? How much work? How is she going to afford to keep that? Well, I'm not sure it's kept up now, but How is she going to afford to keep that up? There she is. We look at her face to facelift. Okay. I got that out of my system. My nose is running. I had a good laugh. But let the record reflect that the thing that Harry was speaking about, people leaving a toxic work environment, in this case, the person who caused the toxic work environment is the one that left, not the people affected by it. So let the record reflect. Or as Mrs. Slocum would say, and I believe I am unanimous in this. Are you being served? Okay, so next, what do we have next? Okay, Camilla becomes queen. You know what? I was supposed to use that earlier, but since I've gone through the trouble, let's just get there now. Camilla will become queen. Her Majesty 95 issues historic platinum jubilee statement to end years of uncertainty and tell the public, I know. Well, I've done that already too. But yeah, so for some reason, when I thought about it, I said, well, let me put a picture of her side by side with her great great grandmother. What is it? Edith Kettle, whatever her name is. Let us do a side by side, shall we? And I tell you, when it comes to looks, I have to take my hat off to Edith because she was hot. But as for, well, she's a very handsome woman. So let's not pick on Prince Charles's emotional support, Camilla. She's what you would refer to as a very handsome woman. You know how they say they're a handsome couple? Well, she's handsome all by herself. She doesn't need the company of a man to be handsome and rugged and good looking. So she's like the Charleston Heston of no, that's too pretty. But yeah, she's what you would call a very handsome woman. Yes, Mascara, best in show. She's a breed of her own, absolutely. So I don't think we're out of place for saying that. She's a breed of her own. Uh, yeah, well, Richard Palmer was the one who said that 67% of the people in the United Kingdom doesn't want that. And because the Queen is in such a frail state of health, and this seems to be one of the last big statements that she'll make, um, then of course we have to abide by her wishes and allow her to become the Queen's stepmother. Not Queen Mother, but Queen stepmother. I don't know, but she's a consort. Yes, she's a consort and best in show, might I add. So, yes, I meant to use that slide earlier. Now, Princess Diana, I'm just stating this for the record. I'm not trying to be shady, but Princess Diana had her own views of Camilla, and it had nothing to do with her appearance. It's just that when she latches on to something, she doesn't tend to let go. And she latched on to Charles and she didn't let go. This was yeah, whatever those nicknames they exchanged back and forth. She latched on to him and she didn't let go. So that's why Diana calls Camilla the Rottweiler. I think that's why. I think it's only for one reason, but it may have been a dual purpose. I'm not sure. I'm just stating the fact. I'm not admonishing her in any kind of way. The Queen stands behind her, and so shall I. Anybody with a bite that has like, I don't know, 2,000 pounds per square inch, I would rather stand behind instead of in front of. Too much? Too much? Woo! Ty Fletcher, we're not going down that path today. Um, we're going to be as respectful as possible. That's why I put their photos side by side. Well, not their photos, but this newspaper. So it's not coming from us. Whether or not I agree with you, which I do, but oh Yes. Okay. So enough of that. I'm going to remove that because you know, I don't know if she's had her shots or not. I'm talking about the Rottweiler, so I'm going to remove that. That emotional support, Camilla. She's the future queen consort, and we all have to abide by the queen's words. The queen said it, so let it be written, so let it be done. Are you still tripping over Hoghead? uh, yeah, so it's really none of our business. It's the queen's affair. They're a bunch of figureheads. They're not really in power, so they say. So yes, pound per square inch. Okay, so let me go on to my next collection of slides. Let me see. Oh, wow, we've been on for an hour and 30 minutes. Where did the time go? Good grief. We have been on here way too long. Um, so let's see. Talked about that. Let me go back here. Okay, so we've already spoke about this. I think I'm just about done. I want to say I've covered just about everything that I wanted to speak about today. We did talk about this, and I can't say it enough. If you are missing your Sunday mornings with Tina and Michelle, make sure you go and check out Miss VSN because if you go to the community tab, there is a link that will definitely take you to this conversation with the Sussex Squad podcast. So, yeah, keep doing it. Go there and make sure you check that out. And then from there, well, I did have this. So, not giving up without a fight, obviously, because we have been spoon fed this medicine. It's just a spoonful of sugar. Yes, as you know, the Duchess of Cambridge has been channeling Mary Poppins for years. Well, the Queen decided to remind everybody that she is the OG, the original gangsta Gan, the original gangster. So there's the Queen with her version of the cape coat thing, the whole Mary Poppins look. So yeah, there you have it. And so I think Kate has been dressing very frumpy because they want to make this a transition that will bypass Camilla and take you directly to Kate. Now, officially, that is not supposed to be possible. Charles will be the next king, and that's it. And Camilla will be his queen. Even before that statement from the queen herself, we all have known that Camilla is going to be there next. And so um, that's a given. However, I wonder this big campaign that they've had for a long period of time, where they have been shoving this down everybody's throat that Kate is the future of the monarchy. I wonder if finally the men in gray suits or the queen or somebody, maybe even Charles, decided to stand up and say enough is enough. Camilla is going to hold that position next, and that's all to it. But now, as you guys know, Camilla is the Princess of Wales, but she doesn't use that title out of respect for Princess Diana, and also she don't want anybody throwing stuff at their car again. That did happen before, by the way. Maybe not for that exact reason, but I don't think anybody lost any sleep because of it either. So I'm sorry, I have some people from the UK. I don't think anybody lost any sleep over it either. There you go. See, I told you I could speak English, even though I'm an American. Okay, so the future queen, the future queen. I'm just being shady by doing this. Remember this? Finger clicking Carol Middleton, Mom Carol, bombards staff with 71 emails a day and docs pay if they go to the dentist. Like mother, like daughter. The lady on the right side there is very difficult to see that, but she was in service of the Cambridges. She was already working at the Amber Hall, which you can see photographed at the bottom, but they wanted to farm out the help and make her go and work at Kensington Palace too. She already said she barely has a life, so she quit. She quit. But like mother, like daughter, very hard on the staff, very hard on the staff. And I'm only bringing this up because for her 40th birthday, the big gift that Kate received was continuous attacks upon the Duchess of Sussex. Yeah, continuous attacks. We all sat through it. I tried to say as little about it as possible, although I did reference that on occasion. And I was, sick of it. You hear me? Sick. I was sick of it. And so occasionally I would, you know, reference a few things just because I felt like I wanted to pull out a receipt or two and keep the record straight. So this is the Kate that we're supposed to forget about. Kate Middleton was called lazy and unbecoming by Queen Elizabeth before the Duchess married Prince William. Remember that? Kate Middleton, I don't remember it because I didn't care. I didn't pay attention to it. Kate Middleton, called lazy by Queen, nicknamed her Lazy Duchess Doolittle. And then, of course, Workshy Will and Duchess Doolittle booed in Brussels, and so on and so on and so on. And this campaign went on for a while. And so, if you look at the bottom left there, you can see the photograph on the cover of the Tatler, Catherine the Great, as they prepared her to become queen. They all but anointed her queen right there in that article. But the problem is, while they were picking her up, they were tearing her down. The royal rodents, the British press, they have this love-hate relationship with Catherine, even though it may seem to us as squatties that they are elevating and lifting her and taking her to the mountaintop so that she could look down on the peasants, as Carol planned. The truth is, the Sussexes are just a distraction. At some time and some place of their choosing, the tabloid press, they're going to go after her again. They're going to go after her again. And believe me, there's plenty there. And not only are they going to take her on, but they're going to take on Willie, because the whole attack on the Sussex thing, it is bound to get old. It's never going to quit, but it's bound to get old. But this is how the Duchess of Cambridge was seen for a long time. So then there's this. This is just a little receipt I pulled out that I was hanging on to. William and Kate's slick new promotional video. Take that. Well, I don't use that word, but I don't like that M word that they use because it is misogynistic and ignorant. But I think this had to do with their Netflix deal. So they're trying to say that big deal with Netflix somehow has met its match because they have a YouTube channel that nobody watch. And that YouTube channel was really supposed to make waves with the younger generation. And still nobody watches it. I think the most watched thing on that channel, and I did, full disclosure, I was curious and I wanted to know exactly what was going on. Please don't go to their channel. Please don't do it. But you know what the biggest thing on that channel? I'll tell you what the biggest thing is the Phantom of Westminster Abbey, like some 3 or 4 million views. Oh yeah, they got their money's worth out of that. They have gotten their money's worth out of it. So for her 40th birthday, the biggest gift that she received is, yet again, they tried to make this false comparison between the Duchess of Cambridge and the Duchess of Sussex. And that's why you had what's her name, Nina Miskow. I hope I'm saying her name right. When Jeremy Vine asked her, "You don't like the Duchess of Cambridge, do you?" She said, "No. It's not that I don't like her." She said, "What it is I'm just tired of her being forced down my throat every day, where they try to make her into like the savior, like she's better than any woman alive." And And in so many words, Nina said that she just didn't like it. She didn't like the assertion that there's something so great and fantastic about this Kate mediocre Middleton that is supposed to be the great critical thinker of our time. She just doesn't buy it, and she's like the only person that is not necessarily Team Sussex that I've ever heard go against the grain like that. She said, no, no, she's not. She just basically put up her hands and said, no, that's not the case. She's not all those things. And please stop telling me that. And I admire that. I admire that. I don't know much about Nina. I don't watch Jeremy Vine's show regularly, but someone in the squad actually posted that on the Twitter, and then that's how I took notice of it. So very interesting. It's lovely to see someone be objective and go against the grain like that. What is your thoughts, guys? Yes, like a maniac. That's true. Pictures were amazing, much, much better than mediocre Middleton. Yeah, they were very dignified without being so obviously in your face. Um, those photos of the Queen of Denmark, she didn't look like she went down with the Titanic. She didn't look like something that would haunt some old manor house somewhere. These photos, I think they would frighten children. You know, they used to have this thing where they would do in the Victorian days. I don't know if it was a thing in the UK, but in the US, they would prop up the cadaver with the rest of the family and take like a commemorative photo of the dearly departed and the other people in the family. They would prop them up and take a photo with them, seated in a position as though they were. I'm not saying that that's what's going on here. I'm just saying this reminds me of those old Victorian frightful photos. But yeah, so there's that. But yeah, so that have a birthday for her, but stop making it about Meghan. There are no photos of Meghan that looks like this. None of them. Well, maybe just in a bikini. But the other two there, that's their future queen. That's their future queen. That's their future queen. You don't have any photos of Meghan like this to share because they don't exist. But this is what we're supposed to not see. It's hard to find these photos on the internet because so many of them have been removed. You can barely find them. But that's their future queen. That's her pouring out of a taxi. Oh, wait, did she slam her face? Yeah, she's one of them. She's in the back of the taxi, probably unaware of her location or even what her name is. And the other one is these exist. This is their future queen. This is how the tabloid portrayed her in the past. But now she's Catherine the Great, and don't you forget it. This is what they hope they would find for Meghan. These are the images that they hope that they would find someplace. They don't exist. And believe me, they have exhausted themselves trying to find something. And they're still looking. They have paid people to lie. They have managed to get the trashier side of her family to say things for the right price. But for some reason, the other side of her family, aside from releasing photos of her as a child, unauthorized releases of photos, and saying that she's an incredible person, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Nothing. Nothing but positive information about her. And if you had a chance to see the video yesterday that I made, actually it was a updated version of what is his name, Patrick J. Adams, defending the Duchess of Sussex so many months ago. And I thought, well, it still resonates today, so why not just re-release it? So I did. But there's no there there. They have absolutely nothing. But this one, they decided that they would try to big her up by tearing down Duchess of Sussex. And so when people say, "Well, why do you?" That's why, because I'm frustrated by that. I'm frustrated by somebody who has lived their life, that is, in a way that was dignified. Someone who grew up in Hollywood, someone who could have easily fallen into the traps of the system in Hollywood. They try to paint her with this brush that she's like this terrible person. And so when there was nothing else, they decided to call her a narcissist because she works hard, she wakes up early, she does yoga, she takes her own dog out for a walk. And yes, she has sent emails at any given hour of the day that you may or may not respond to. When I go to bed, I cut my phone off. I cut my phone off. I've been doing that for years. And before the cell phone, I used to take the plug out the wall. I would unplug my phone. Anybody who knows me, I always tell them, don't apologize. You're not going to wake me up. If you can wake me up, then I was reckless and irresponsible and I forgot to unplug the phone. Now I forgot to turn the ring off. So send me an email, call me any time of day or night you want to. But yeah, so this is why I bother, because it's very unfair. It is very unfair. And then you have this. You have this. Well, she doesn't do so much work because she's taking care of the kids. Looks to me like she has her own army to care for her children. She has staff. She has 2 homes. She goes places by helicopter so she can get back as soon as possible. But yet, this is the one that they want to tear down. And it's very unfair. And if I feel like calling it out, then I'm going to call it out because I'm tired of it. It's exhausting. It is exhausting. Okay. Robert Lacey did say on Newsweek that Charles was negotiating full status for Camilla. Yeah, I could believe that. I didn't see it, but it makes sense. I prefer we say supporting the Duchess than defending. Meghan never did anything wrong to defend. Yes, you're absolutely right. She hasn't done anything. Absolutely nothing. I think it's amazing that, given the fact that she is quite stunning on many occasions, and that she is intelligent, articulate, and all the other things you want to say, and yet she hasn't fallen into the traps of Hollywood. Where you marry for money and all that. She hasn't done any of those things. She worked very hard. She played the game as best she could. But it seems like all of those things were really just a way to maintain until she reached her ultimate goal, and that is charity and philanthropy. It seemed like while she was doing a great job with Suits, I think that, like so many other women who may have higher goals, that ultimately she had to maintain her lifestyle, and that's pretty much what she wanted to do, was promote a healthy lifestyle, good food, good living, exercise, and she wanted to help people. And that's her crime, is that she wanted to help. She only wants to help. That's her big crime. So they would prefer mediocrity over somebody who actually has worked for a living. And that's why I'm so glad the Duchess of Sussex said that on the Oprah Winfrey Show, that she's proud of the fact that she's always worked. She's always worked, and she's proud of it. And that's more than you could say for, they like to say Harry never really worked a job. Really? Harry never really worked? What is the Duchess of Doolittle doing? What does she do for a living? I know she can dive into a helicopter like nobody I've ever seen. I mean, when she steps out the house, she automatically like ducks her head down because she assumes that she's getting into a helicopter. She's always getting into a helicopter. Those big hypocrites, I don't know who told William to do that thing about the earshot. I don't know who told him that was a good idea. This big hypocrite with his um cars and trains and planes. I don't know who told him that was a good idea. Just like this outfit. Who who stood back and watched him walk out that door looking like a bottle of Mitch and Roll-On? Who did that? Who did that? Was it the most critical thinker of our time? Somebody stood back, somebody was laying in the cut and watched him walk out the door looking like that and said nothing. Woo. Oh, somebody did that. Somebody did that. I want to know who is responsible for allowing him to walk out the house looking like a bottle of Mitch and Roll-On. Who did that? Was it you? Oh, okay, okay. All right. That's why I compare myself to Tyler Perry. I'm sometimes my podcast is like a Medea movie, isn't it? There's that very serious speech and dialogue followed by this. Okay, so anyway, I'm done with that. But I still want to know who's responsible. Okay, now why did I have this one? Oh, you know what? I don't need that. I just put that up there. And in case you couldn't read that earlier, there's a close up. Look at that. Look at how they have worn this poor. You know, this girl in the photo, she's in her 20s, and poor thing has worked so hard that she's aging rapidly. And maybe that was the point. They didn't want her to look too young. They wanted her to age rapidly so that she would look like Duchess Doolittle. But yeah, they wanted me to spend more time at Kensington Palace, and her work was increasing all the time. She wasn't having a normal life outside of work. Sadie serving her notice, and it seems nothing will change her mind. It's their loss. Yeah, so that she quit her job. And you don't just quit a job with the royal family. You're supposed to just stay there and take it so you can get a good reference. But um, like I say, it happened long before Harry brought it up. It's been I didn't laugh so much my nose is running. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And I don't know. I just added this to it because I that's a fun picture. Whoever did that get out thing, I thought that was hilarious. And then there's this. So in order to make as much trouble for Harry, we've been talking about this for a few days. They decided that they would have Kate be the patron of the rugby. Kate Middleton, the athletic, do no wrong. Uh, Catherine the Great was made the patron of the rugby. And as you can see, nobody is more athletic and has greater coordination to do something like that than Kate Middleton. Nobody. I mean, I can't tell you if she's coming or going, if she's walking backwards, sideways, or forward. But whatever she's doing, she is the most athletic, the most nimble, the most agile royal that has ever lived among all the other attributes. I mean, we already know that she's the great critical thinker of our time. I mean, that is Dr. Joyce Jazz Hands. She is a philosopher. She's a scientist. She's all these things, and she knows what's going on inside of kids' brains because, she spent 10 years trying to think of 5 questions to help the kids. So among her other talents, she's also the colonel of the Grenadier Guards, honorary, of course, and she can wear a mean pair of culottes. I mean, look at her. I have never seen anybody put on some culottes like that. She is the queen of the 3/4 length culottes. So I think I have overlooked something. Obviously, well, yeah, Mary, I think that given the fact that the area that they live in is prone to flooding, to show you how brilliant she is, she's prepared. So she's wearing her high waters because she's the greatest critical thinker of our time and the savior of the monarchy, hands down. Hands down or hands up or hands moving, she's the savior of the British monarchy. So long as we all understand that, I think we're okay. As I say in a very glib and sarcastic tone. Uh, I told y'all I probably should have got off about 30 minutes ago, but since y'all wanted me to stay, I'm here. Um, so that being said, yeah, I guess you could say that. I'm not sure what's keeping them up, if that's what you mean. I don't know what's holding them up. I'm still trying to figure out how those culottes are are defying gravity. I don't know what's keeping them up. So oh boy. Y'all don't be like me. I'm yeah. And they will be very disappointed. That's true. But and I feel really bad because Patricia, you are one of the most brilliant writers that I have encountered in the comment section. And I feel like I am somehow taking you down a path that someone as brilliant as you should not even think about. So I'm embarrassed and I'm ashamed. Um, but I'm glad you see things my way, just the same. So, Lil Rock, you also write brilliantly. The Queen fired 400 staffers from different departments in 2019, but no news hype on that. As far as the fashion, mediocre at best, and the UK press reports are good and tacit, harsh words and arrogant display. See, I told you, Lil Rock and Patricio. Oh, you guys are brilliant. If I could write like that, that's all I could say. But don't think I haven't taken notice to that. Let me see. Broke a leg. Well, they did say she's like a jointed doll in which you layer clothes upon. So, okay, let me get rid of that one. And then there's this. There they are, face to face, the two future queens of the United Kingdom. I think they're in safe hands. I really think that what we see here, that is the future of the United Kingdom. And notice William feels secure too, because as usual, he's smiling and not necessarily looking at his wife. Um, but yeah, they're safe. And as you can see, the weight of empire will soon be upon Camilla's shoulders, and then eventually onto Duchess Doolittle's well coordinated, poised, and nimble shoulders. So I think they're going to be okay. So even though I'm making fun of them as usual, they are in safe hands, jazzy or not. uh, so, a few more receipts. As you can see, I was unprepared to speak about her today. But there she is. When I saw her doing the thing with the rugby, I'm like, didn't we just see this? Didn't we just see this? This is what they expect from mediocre Middleton. This is all she's got to do the rest of her life. She wants to keep smiling so that you don't see this. Okay. She has to keep smiling because otherwise you would confuse her from Camilla, except she's a little taller. And other than that, she just posed like the Heisman Trophy, run like OJ through the airport, or jump over stuff like some Olympic sprinter or whatever. That's all she has to do. That. Meanwhile, some people can barely keep the heat on, but this is what's expected, and it's okay. So, yeah, mediocre Middleton. Mediocre Middleton. All right. Well, I think that's it for that. As you can see, I was unprepared to speak about her. Did I tell you about Uncle Gary? That's Uncle Gary Goldsmith. That's her uncle. This is the one that said those terrible negative things about Sussexes. You can see up there on the upper right that classy gentleman is, well, in the middle. You can. Oh, thank you, Hen Pal. Thank you so much for that. You can see that classy gentleman who lives that town and country life is taking a bit of a wee out in public. And there you can see he's, I don't know, I guess that's sweet and low or something like that in front of that stomach. I think he's actually mixing sweet and low and, I don't know, confectionate sugar, something. I don't know. That's classy Gary Goldsmith. That's the one who likes to bash the Sussexes. Yeah. So meet Kate Middleton's Uncle Gary. Everybody's got one. That's Uncle Gary. They should call him Uncle Garish. That's Garish Gary. So mediocre Middleton and Garish Gary. Yes. Real class act, those Middletons. I can't wait until they move into Windsor. I just can't wait. But happy Sunday to you, Hen Pal. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Oh, humor is a remedy for foolishness. That's what I feel. If I didn't have a chance to do this, I believe me, I felt very helpless until Royal Sussex came along. I felt very, very helpless. And now I feel like at least I can find something to smile about at their expense, of course. All things come to those who wait. I thought I was through. I forgot about this. All things come to those who wait. The lady in red, there she is. That is the future Queen Mother. Now, people told me, oh, they're not going to call her that. Oh, believe me, they'll find some way to call her the Queen Mother. It was no accident that they had that occasion at Westminster called the Royal Carol. See how they put that subliminal thought in our heads, the Royal Carol? It's everything a mother could want, the Royal Carol. Well, the Royal Carol, as you know, she used to be an air hostess. And as an air hostess, she kept a few of those cocktails. I don't know where she hid them, but she kept a few of those cocktails. And sometimes when they're out on occasion, just to calm her nerves with all of the, you know, I guess, time, trouble, and expense that it has taken to get to this position, she has saved a few of those bottles of libations just for medicinal purposes. And sometimes, even in public, she'll pull out the occasional paper bag because there's no way you would suspect that was alcohol, right? It may not be alcohol, it could be some type of elixir or tonic. But that's enough about Church Nelly. It could be some type of elixir or tonic. And then of course she's feeling mellow, and she gives that very sheepish look up to. Matter of fact, there's probably nobody even up there. But she is lit. Do you hear me? That's what you call lit. She's lit. So oh boy, I love this. These I don't know why I kept these photos, but I just love them. Sometimes when I'm having a bad day, I'll go and look at these photos. Give me a pig foot and a bottle of beer. Blame me, baby, 'cause I don't care. She would fit perfectly in an old juke joint, wouldn't she? That's that juke joint Carol Middleton. Give me a pig foot and a bottle of beer. Blame me, baby, 'cause I don't care. Sometimes I feel like I just want to clown, but give the piano player a drink because he's bringing me down. Yes, that's Carol. That's that juke joint Middleton. Church Nelly, I thought you had passed out by now. You didn't hear me say anything, did you? When I said juke joint, I wasn't calling you. I was talking about Carol Middleton, juke joint Carol. So okay, let me stop. But that was fun though. Um, so ladies and gentlemen, juke joint Carol Middleton. Oh boy. Okay, so your comments, please. This is why I'm sorry, this is what we'll have to put up with after QE2 is gone. Yes, Betty, that is so true. See her grinning and grinning at their coronation. Yeah, she'll be grinning, but somebody else is going to be serving refreshments because I suspect Carol still has her trolley from her days in the aviation business, and I do believe Carol is going to sell some beverages at the Westminster to recoup all the losses because she spent a lot of money to put this in place. If you know what I mean, it cost a lot to get there, so she's going to have to recoup her losses somehow because, you know, I don't know if they're going to get their hands on the money, but they will have the positions that come with it. So I expect William is going to hand out some titles to that family. If they have they received any titles from the Queen, I don't think so. But yeah, I suspect that they're going to receive some titles. Let me see, Carol, my middle let me see. Carol, my middle name sake, has been an integral part from A to finish line, and it's too late to quit using the playbook of Queen's mother. Um, he's everywhere in the grounds of those palaces. Okay, yeah, okay. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thank you. I think I'm done singing for the day, though. Didn't know I knew that song, though, did you? Oh my goodness, how did I miss that? Thank you so much, Jeanette Lavalley. I mean, you heard me sing, and still you have gifted me with a lovely super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. And happy Sunday to you. So it's, oh my goodness, it's been 2 hours and 8 minutes already. Where did the time go? I feel like somebody roofied me. It's as though I've been in Carol's brown paper bag. This is what I'm looking like right now. I'm looking up trying to figure out, where am I? What's going on? Did they win? Uh, the future queen mother takes a brown paper bag to a public event. The first way to solve a problem is to admit that you have one. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. You know what? I was resistant to the idea of these people invading Windsor Castle, but I kind of think I want that now. I kind of think I want that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The first time that they find her face down in the gravel, um, early in the morning, not sure how she got there, after another all-nighter at the juke joint, it will all be worth it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please hurry up and get those people in Windsor Castle, would you? I need the material. Oh, really? Oh, Teresa, I just this gets me, and I love the way she after it was over with, she just looked up like burp. Okay, full disclosure, we don't know exactly. That may be some type of elixir or medication. something for her nerves, to steady her nerves or whatever. And that guy looking disparagingly over her shoulder there, see the one looking down at her? I'm sure he's just trying to figure out if she needs help, so to speak. So who knows what's going on? I can't say. But one thing I can say, did you guys know that, hello, Ivy here? Ivy has just uploaded a video, so make sure you guys go and watch that. Ivy doesn't have a live, but if you guys feel like going over to Ivy, I won't be offended. It has been fun, fun, fun. And I hope that there has been plenty of information that has been shared today. That's my main goal, is to make sure that I dispense as much information as possible. Great week for the Duke of Sussex with the Better Up. And of course, one of the reasons why I know the Sussexes are going to be okay is because, don't forget, the Sussexes have various business interests that does not concern Spotify. And even without the Netflix deal, that is their foundation of their wealth in the beginning. But there has been other things that have come about over time, which means that they're going to be okay. Because look at this. Look at Better Up. Better Up has done extremely well because of their chief impact officer, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Okay? So Prince Harry is a good provider for his family. And that's why we love him so much, is because he protects his queen, the Duchess of Sussex. They are going to be okay, you guys. They are doing just fine. So don't worry. Don't despair. Chief Impact Officer, Prince Harry. Okay, let me go to your comments. Okay, Lorock says, yeah, Baron, so are the pesky tabloid press looking forward to more made-up contents to unleash every hour in the ecosystem of news. Yeah, I look forward to it when it comes to those, the Middletons, the mediocre Middletons. I'm for that. Please expose them for the social climbers that they have been accused of being. I'm not saying I feel that way, but please expose those social climbers. Enjoys drinking. Carol, who is the mother of Kate the Great, could never be an alcoholic, but she could assist you in hiding the truth. Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, and by no means are we assuming that she has a problem with alcohol, but if she does, it's okay. Had wine yesterday. I ordered 2 bottles of each Pinot Grigio and what is that? Oh, wait! Don't tell me. Sauv Blanc. So I forgot what the Sauv is for, but Cabernet Sauvignon Blanc. Is that Cabernet Sauvignon? Oh, whatever. But yeah, cool. Good for you. All right, you guys. I think I'm ready to skedaddle. It has been fun. I see a lot of people have left and gone over to hello, Ivy here, I hope. And we'll have to connect again. Who would like to have the final word for the day? Who would like to have the final word? Oh my goodness, somebody sent me a PayPal just now. I don't want to say the name, but I see the initial is CH. So thank you so much for the generous PayPal. I love when that happens. That happens occasionally while I'm on the thing. Somebody sends something. So yeah, thank you so much for that. I am going to build a shrine to you later. Okay, so last thought of the day. Oh, maybe this is it. Do not stand in a place of danger, trusting in miracles. African Proverbs. Shal Stewart, that is brilliant. And I like that. And that is going to be our last thought of the day. Thank you so much for joining us on Royal Sussex. And thank you, our Queen of Hearts, Princess Diana. And thank you, the Queen of Everything, Doria. Without Doria and Diana, I'm not sure how this would have been possible, but it was possible. It is, and we are grateful. Okay. All right. So, good day to you all. Happy Sunday. Love you all. Thank you. And don't forget to go over to Sussex Global UK so you can see. Hello, Ivy here. I love to do that. It's hard to stop. Okay. Bye, everybody.